Hi and welcome to another narration presented by yours truly, Cryptids Roost. Please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to tap that notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time we upload new videos. I would like to reach out and say a huge thank you to those of you who have supported Cryptids Roost financially. We pray the good Lord replenishes you abundantly, and to those of you who will later on. We pray the Lord bless you as you do so. And also a huge thank you to everyone for always supporting the channel with your likes, comments and shares as well. It is all very much appreciated. God bless you all. So grab your coffee, sit back and enjoy the show. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not. File 0. This epic story is written by getyaisha. If you would like to read more of their works, the Reddit link to their profile will be below in the description. What you are about to hear are pirated broadcasts recorded by different sources and archived by an agent Foster, whose exact designation is unknown. The tapes were found in an abandoned storefront in Seattle, Washington, October 8th, 2020. Recording Audio File 1, December 15, 2019. This whole thing started a few years ago when I bought a book from a local resale shop. The book was The Zombie Survival Guide. Now I know what you're thinking. Here we go, another one of those survivalist nuts. To be honest, you'd be right to think that, because I am. I have undergone weapons training and multiple survival camps, but none of that is why I chose to do this. In the book I mentioned before, there's a part that references a film, the 1965 Lawson footage. This caught my attention and instantly put me on the path that led me here. The internet will tell you it's make-believe, that it doesn't exist and it was just a part of a silly book. But what else would they tell you about something they don't want you to know? It took 2 years of dead ends and dark web searches before I met Martin Lang. I met Martin through a wilderness survival forum on Reddit. He claimed to have the original film. I couldn't convince him to sell it, but he agreed to meet with me and let me watch it. The only problem was Martin lived in Telluride and I was living in Arizona at the time. It's about an 8-hour trip, add in traffic and stops, more like 9 or 10 hours. We agreed to meet on a Saturday, that way neither of us had to miss work. I remember hoping this wasn't going to be another bullshit blank trip, and it wasn't. We met up at some grill on the corner of North Fir and Columbia. Martin was an older guy, early 50s I'd guess, tall, around 6'2", clean-shaven, with short-cropped grey hair. It's hard to describe his demeanour. In a word, I would call it paranoid. He never really looks directly at you when he speaks. He's always scanning the area and talking under his breath as if someone might be listening. "Dave, it's good to finally meet you in person," he said nervously, reaching out to shake my hand with a slight chuckle. "There's a library 4 blocks from here on Pine Street. They have a film room. I'll meet you there in the morning. There's a hotel 1 street over. Get a room, get some rest." I had to stop him right there. The way he was acting was starting to freak me out a little bit. I was starting to wonder if we were in any real danger. "Is everything alright? You're acting a little sketchy right now. Should I be worried or what?" He stopped scanning the area and looked at me directly in the eyes. "We'll talk about it in the morning." With that, he gave me that same nervous smile, got in his car and drove away. I could have just gone home, but I didn't. Since I was already at the grill, I grabbed a burger and a beer, then headed over to the hotel. I woke up the next morning feeling like a kid on Christmas, like I was about to unwrap the best gift ever. Worst day of my fucking life. When I got to the library, Martin was already there. As soon as I walked into the film room, Martin jumped as if I had caught him doing something wrong. Jesus, you scared me, Dave. Sorry if I'm a little jumpy, this shit makes me nervous. There's a lot to cover, and once you see what this really is, you'll understand. Taking a deep breath, he started feeding me what he knew. There are different stages of the virus. Stage 1 only affects one super rare blood type, and even then most people's immune system destroys it. But there are some the virus thrives in. Once they're infected, they lose their minds. They start doing crazy shit like locking their children in cars or walking into malls, shooting everyone in sight. From what I can tell, this virus is responsible for every serial killer and mass shooting since 1966. The zombie part is real, but typically the infected party is either captured or killed. If the infected person is killed and the body isn't disposed of, the virus reanimates the corpse in an attempt to keep itself alive. Then, and only then, can the virus be passed to any blood type through saliva. It was too much information. I cut it short, trying to get to the point. Look, Martin, what you're saying sounds great and all, but I'm not in the mood for fan fiction. Can we please watch the film without the bullshit? He looked a little disappointed by my reaction, but then said something I'll never forget. Just because you don't believe it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It wasn't so much what he said, but how he said it that stuck in my head. As it turns out, there are exactly 4 cans of film. Hours and hours of footage. Grainy 8mm home movies. Chronicling Harry Lawson going insane and killing 3 people before he was shot and killed by the town's sheriff. The body was kept on the scene a little too long, and he reanimated and infected several others. The part of the Lawson film everyone knows about is only a small part. The family trying to escape on a school bus was a small excerpt from the end of the film. Hours came and went as we sat in the dark watching the film. I must have dozed off at some point because a loud pop sound woke me up. The coppery smell of blood and gunpowder filled my lungs as I turned to see Martin propped up against the far wall, sitting on the floor, his blood and brains now dripping from the ceiling. Before I had a chance to process what I was seeing, the door flew open and the 2 police officers came rushing in. I was taken into custody and questioned about Martin and what happened. But in the end, the security footage proved it was suicide and I was able to go home. I was on the highway for about an hour before it hit me, the film. I pulled off the highway and grabbed my phone and then called the Telluride Police Department. I told them I had purchased the films from Martin, but with the situation being what it was, I forgot to pick them up before leaving. It worked. I got the films and was back on the road in no time. Now, I know it's a shitty move, but those films were potentially worth millions. It took a while to line up serious buyers, but when some Asian rich kid from Virginia offered me $2,000 just to watch it, I took the money. That kid went on to gun down 32 people at his college before being killed by the police. My next buyer, some lady from Delaware, she came with 2 other guys. They said they were all film students. After they watched the film, they went home and executed 3 of their classmates before being taken into custody. At this point, all I wanted to do was get rid of the films. It was about 4 months before I saw another buyer. The guy seemed normal enough to me. He told me he worked for some mid-range production company. If the film was legit, they would make an offer on the rights to the films. The deal never happened. The day after seeing the film, that asshole went out and killed 9 people in a shooting mall somewhere in Nebraska. Because of that, another rep from the same company came by a few weeks later and asked to view the film. This time I said no. I tried to stop it, but after rejecting their deal several times, they offered $500,000 for a copy of the films. And on Christmas Eve, that same rep killed her entire family before committing suicide by hanging herself. That one led to the first mini outbreak of the virus. I believe that was in Washington, but the CDC and a few other government agencies got that contained and eliminated in no time. blaming the deaths on some horrible strain of the flu. I wouldn't see another customer till the following Christmas. A businessman from California, he watched the film and bought a copy. He went home and invited a few people over for a Christmas party. Then get this, the guy dressed up as Santa and proceeded to murder everyone at the party before he set the house on fire and committed suicide by cop. This process goes on for years from 2007 to 2019. But as of a few months ago, I've finally done it. I spent all the money I've made from viewings and copies spreading the virus to small isolated areas all over the world. Places where no one could get there in time to stop the incubation period. South America was first to fall. Why do you think all these people walked from Ecuador through Mexico to the border? It wasn't seeking the American dream. They were running for their lives, and soon everyone will be. My name is Dave, and I started the zombie apocalypse. You're welcome. Recording audio file 2, May 4th, 2020. Hello everyone, Dave here. It's been a long time since my first post, and oh my, have things picked up. As I'm sure you have all noticed, the world has gone nuts. And not to honk my own horn, but I feel I've done a fantastic job to this point. The government and mass media have done a superb job of covering up my handiwork. They play with the outbreaks as riots caused by civil unrest over police brutality, and if you can believe it, race relations. I mean, seriously, they couldn't have come up with something better than that. And just when I thought they were about to shut me down, there was a major outbreak that's currently being sold as a global pandemic. Not to be rude, but before I go on, I'd like to address a couple of frequently asked questions. The first of which is, what is it that's causing the virus? I actually discovered it by accident. While I was tracking out the sound from the film, I isolated a frequency that was being broadcast in the area at the time. I don't know who was broadcasting it or why, but it is what causes the virus. I know this because I sold some copies with it and some without. In every single case, the ones without it led to nothing. The others, well, they made the news. I won't drag you through the details of it because you're all seeing it for yourself every day in the media. The only other question I'm going to answer is why? I'm doing it because you all deserve it. You are all greedy, self-serving, egotistical leeches feeding off the blood, sweat and tears it took to get you to this point, and it makes me sick. You steamroll over the little man, crushing his spirit, smashing him down to nothing. Then tell him it's his fault for not working hard enough, or you tell him he's too old, too slow, too ugly, too stupid, or just plain not good enough to fit into your picture-perfect reality. So I made it my goal to destroy your perfect picture, and this is how. Now that's out of the way, I can move on to the reason I'm sending you this. I'm currently in a small town in the middle of nowhere, working at a local radio station. I've been broadcasting the signal to the entire town for close to a month now, and let me tell you, the view from here is beautiful. The first to turn were the sheriffs and firemen, along with the paramedics. I have to say I couldn't have planned that if I tried. It was technically an accident, but hey, I'll take it as a win. There was an unexpected twist or two that had me a little worried for a while. Early on, the infected acted completely normal right up until they hit a trigger event, then all bets were off. One lady killed her children and cooked them for her husband's dinner when he got home. Then she fed it to him, then stabbed him to death before butchering her next door neighbours. Someone eventually shot her, and that's when the real fun started. I discovered a few things that night. For instance, did you know zombies don't start off slow and easy to kill? When the virus takes over a dead one, it has 4 or 5 hours before it slows down due to rigour. Here's another fun fact. Depending on how damaged the host body is, Some of the dead ones will pretend to be alive for the first hour or so before they lose the last of their normal brain function. I learned both of these things in the first few days. The really crazy part of all that is, this was the first time I'd seen these things happen. In every other place I've been, it was completely different. In any case, most of the people here are dead now. I guess you could call them zombies. They've been leaving in packs for days. I believe they are spreading. I've been hearing great news from surrounding counties, and it makes me feel like it's time for me to start moving along. I've decided I'll leave the station broadcasting on a loop. I've picked a great old song to mask it. So if you're ever driving through the middle of nowhere and catch a station playing the same song over and over, turn it up and enjoy the ride. Till next time, this is Dave, and I hope you all die soon. Recording Audio File 3, October 1st, 2020. No introduction. Sorry guys, I don't have much time. There's someone following me. I've seen him at least 4 times now. Last night I was uploading a batch of different movies to free sites when I spotted him. I'm not sure who he works for, but it doesn't matter. I've finally done it. I found a way to get the signal broadcast on national television. It took a lot of work and I nearly got arrested a few times, but the signal is now airing on several networks and the majority of sports broadcasts. The mortality rate is 100%. Why do you think the government is suddenly so interested in long-term space travel? This is it, and I for one won't shed a tear when you're all gone. There's still lots to be done, so my journey doesn't end here. But for most of you, this will be the last time you hear my voice. Oh, before I go, you should probably know that the frequency has been playing throughout these recordings. So, congratulations, you're infected. Dave. No other recordings have been discovered. The whereabouts of Agent Foster are unknown. There were no official records to positively identify who Dave may be. And as of 2 days ago, all official information about this file have vanished. According to officials, this case doesn't exist. Don't forget, if you enjoyed that story, be sure to pop over to the author's Reddit profile and drop them a line, or even give them a glowing review. I'm sure they really would appreciate it. The link to their Reddit profile will be below in the description. Please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to tap the notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. Oh, and don't forget to share the video far and wide. This will all help with YouTube's algorithm and will help to promote this channel more. And don't forget to check out the merch store. The link will be in the description and also in the video thumbnail. And if you would like an honourable mention, send in a snapshot of yourself with your purchase and I'll feature it in one of the videos. I now have my very own subreddit community where you can submit any stories you've written. You can submit your stories or encounters either there or send them to cryptidsroost@gmail.com. If you wish to remain anonymous, that's fine with me. All the links are below. I also have a Facebook group, Twitter, Reddit, and you'll also find me on Discord. If you would like to support this channel and help make it grow, my PayPal is paypal.me/cryptidsroost. Again, that will also be below. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not.